In this podcast episode, Anita Moorjani shares her deeply personal journey through near death, cancer, cultural pressures, and ultimate healing. She reflects on how fear influenced her life decisions and health, the impact of her upbringing in a traditional Indian immigrant family, her experience with cancer treatment and a prolonged coma, and how a transformative near death experience reshaped her understanding of self love, wellness, and purpose. Anita also discusses the broader implications of embracing authenticity, shedding fear, and living from a place of love for lasting health and personal fulfillment. Anita grew up in an Indian immigrant family in Hong Kong, navigating a complicated cultural identity among British, Chinese, and Indian influences. She felt she never truly fit in with any group, which fostered insecurity, low self-esteem, and repressed emotions from a young age. A pervasive expectation within her community was to conform, especially regarding the role of women. Gender disparity was pronounced, with daughters often seen as burdens compared to sons. This environment instilled in her a deep fear of disappointing her father, who openly favored boys. The pressure to conform to cultural norms extended to arranged marriage, a tradition her parents sought for her despite her personal ambitions for education, financial independence, and travel. Anita resisted these pressures, but ultimately became engaged due to loneliness and social expectations. When she realized the drastic compromises this marriage would entail, including giving up her career and autonomy, she fled 3 days before the wedding, which brought significant shame and family rejection. Anita's life was heavily influenced by fear, stemming from cultural judgment, disappointing family, and societal expectations, which led her to people-pleasing behaviors and pervasive anxiety. Later in life, witnessing friends succumb to cancer heightened her fear of illness, prompting obsessive control over her diet and lifestyle. She embraced strict raw vegan and organic diets, avoided sugar and alcohol, and took many supplements, hoping to prevent cancer. Despite all these preventive measures, she was still diagnosed with lymphoma, revealing the limits of controlling physical health without addressing deeper emotional and psychological factors. Anita emphasizes that fear, not just external causes, plays a critical role in illness and well-being. After diagnosis, Anita struggled with conflicting advice about treatment. Western medical professionals advocated chemotherapy, while her naturopathic circle warned against such poisonous methods, favoring natural therapies instead. This tug-of-war intensified her internal fear and indecision. Initially, she sought healing through Ayurveda and yoga in India, where her diet broadened to include warm, spiced, and dairy foods, and she found relief in approaching her illness as a bodily imbalance rather than cancer. However, societal and familial pressure brought her back to Western medical settings, where fear increased again. Her cancer worsened, lungs filled with fluid, and she rapidly declined despite medical intervention, culminating in a hospital coma. During a 30-hour coma, while her organs began shutting down, Anita experienced a profound consciousness outside of her physical body. She describes an expanded awareness that allowed her to perceive her surroundings and hear conversations even though her eyes were closed. She sensed immense peace, freedom from fear, and an overwhelming presence of unconditional love, including the comforting essence of her late father. In this state, she understood that fear, particularly the lifetime of self-repression, people-pleasing, and low self-worth, was the true disease, not cancer itself. The cancer was her body's way of expressing a powerful, suppressed soul and insisting she listen. Death became a catalyst for clarity, healing, and the dissolution of fear. Anita was given a choice during her near-death journey to either remain in the peace beyond life or return to her physical body. Despite a desire to stay in the pain-free state, she chose to come back, guided by a sense of unfinished purpose linked to her husband and life mission. Remarkably, shortly after awakening from the coma, her cancer began to disappear rapidly. Within weeks, scans showed no trace of disease. Medical professionals, including an American oncologist who reviewed her case, concurred that her recovery defied scientific explanation. She emphasizes that this healing stemmed from a profound shift in consciousness, owning truth, releasing fear, and embracing self-love, which activated the body's innate ability to heal. Anita shares how her near-death experience led her to confront lifelong patterns of self-loathing and people-pleasing. She recounts the powerful moment she looked in the mirror post-recovery and promised never to let herself down again, no matter others' disapproval. She stresses that seeking other people's approval often leads to losing oneself and fosters fear. She encourages making a commitment to self-acceptance, recognizing that true safety and well-being come from loving oneself rather than living through fear. This transformative self-love is critical to healing and living authentically. Anita explains that although love is our true nature, humans are conditioned to default to fear because it is superficially protective. Fear is ingrained culturally as safety, yet excessive fear actually harms health and restricts life. She challenges listeners to see through the illusion of fear, which is sustained by societal institutions such as media, religion, and even parts of medicine. Embracing love and authenticity frees people from this conditioning and allows wellness and joy to flourish. She asserts that raising one's energetic vibration through joyful living impacts not only the individual, but also those around them. Anita highlights the importance of being rather than constantly doing to please or prove oneself. She compares personal growth to Michelangelo's sculpting, where the true self already exists within and must be uncovered by removing what is false. From this place of authentic being, actions flow naturally and effectively. She encourages visualization and living as if you have already achieved your goals or healing, because embodying that state shifts energy and reality. This approach extends beyond health to all areas of life, fostering alignment with one's true purpose and joy. Both Anita and the host reflect on how repression of authentic feelings leads to physical manifestations of disease, whether cancer or chronic skin issues. They discuss the importance of honoring and expressing true emotions rather than suppressing them to conform or please others. Courageous communication and self-expression serve as antidotes to the buildup of fear and tension that damages health. Recognizing and breaking patterns of repression helps restore connection to one's inner child and essential self. Anita concludes by sharing 3 core truths she would want to leave the world: the necessity to see through fear's illusion, to love oneself like life depends on it, and to consciously raise one's energetic vibration through joy and authenticity. She reframes self-love as a foundational practice that enables greater contribution and healing. Her definition of greatness is living as fully and authentically as possible, allowing one's spirit to shine and fulfill its purpose. Throughout the interview, Anita embodies hope and empowerment for those facing illness or life challenges, advocating a shift from fear to love as the path to true healing.